But first, do you do your banking online? Apparently, 70% of us do. But is it safe? A man from West Yorkshire is thousands of pounds out of pocket after fraudsters targeted an internet account.
Now, Peter Wilkinson says his confidence in online banking has been severely shaken. He discovered £25,000 was missing after he logged onto his HSBC account. So far, only half of the money has been returned. Phil Bodmer has this.
This is part of the work that we were planning to do with the money.
Peter Wilkinson spent the last 6 months renovating his stone-built house in Menston. After completing the inside, his next project was to transform the back garden. But 2 weeks ago, he discovered his online HSBC account had been hacked and £25,000 had disappeared.
I logged on to my banking app in order to make a payment. I knew I should have had some money in my current account at the time, but it was very overdrawn. That led me to look at the other accounts that I have, my savings account, and those accounts were empty.
Peter says fraudsters transferred money from his savings account to his current account, then made payments to 4 businesses he's used before. Those behind the scam then contacted the payees to say there was a mistake and the money needed to be transferred to another account and not returned to Peter's current account. 2 of the payees became suspicious, stopped the transactions and returned the money to Peter's account. But 2 transferred the money as requested by the fraudsters, totalling £13,500.
I can't understand how, with the security that's in place, that anyone would be able to do this.
Have the bank been able to offer any help or advice?
Not at all, no. The bank have been really uncooperative. I feel almost as if they've been accusing me of being in some way involved in this happening.
According to the Financial Conduct Authority, in most cases the bank must refund the payment without undue delay unless it has reasonable grounds for suspecting the account holder has acted fraudulently. Peter says as he didn't authorise the transactions, his bank should take responsibility.
They should have paid me this money back within a day or two.
Tonight, HSBC told us protecting customers against fraud is a top priority, and we constantly work with the authorities to identify and address the techniques used by fraudsters. We appreciate the frustration this has caused and are working to recover the funds on Mr Wilkinson's behalf. An investigation team is now working on the case. For Peter, the anxiety he's going through should serve as a warning to others to be aware of the continuing threat of online banking fraud. Phil Bodmer, BBC Look North, Menston.
Well, it's the sort of issue many of us have sleepless nights over, isn't it? Richard Emery is a fraud expert. Richard, what concerns do you have most about Peter's case?
Well, the most obvious concern to begin with is Peter has very clearly stated that he did not authorise these transactions. Because the transactions from his account were unauthorised, the bank should be giving him his money back.
What should they be doing in this situation? He's struggled to even speak to anyone directly.
Well, apart from immediately refunding the money into his account, they should also now be pursuing the accounts into which the money went. Now, this is actually a 2-stage process for him in his case, because the money went to genuine people that he'd paid to in the past. So the banks have got to go to those, his bank, HSBC has got to go to those banks, and then they've got to say to those banks, so the money went into your account and your customer then transferred the money onto a third account. But actually the process of tracing that money through to where that money went to is very, very simple for the banks to do.
2 of the companies that the fraudsters paid money to in Peter's name then refunded the amount to a bogus account. Should they take some responsibility for not checking who that account belonged to in the first place?
The difficulty is that you can't check who an account belongs to because there is no what's called confirmation of payee. We currently rely entirely on the sort code and the account number, and it's not until either late this year or early 2020 that you'll be able to validate the name of the account into which you're paying. It's something long overdue. It's a major enhancement in security, and the banks have been very slow to implement it.
We're being encouraged more and more to use internet banking, but how safe is it really?
Generally, it's very safe, and most of the big banks do have good security, although I would have to say that there are a couple of banks where we do have a little bit of concern.
Richard Emery, thank you for joining me. Well, we've just heard that HSBC has told Peter this evening, as a gesture of goodwill, they're refunding the missing money within the next day or so. Pleased to hear it.